All right, good morning. Good morning. All right. Welcome to Armstrong High School. And welcome back, teachers, staff. It's good to see some friendly faces. Great to see a lot of the schools represented. I'm Eric Norby. I'm the head principal here at Armstrong High School. And I just wanted to welcome you to our high school. Now, before we begin, I want to introduce our superintendent. I got to tell you a story. So this summer, Superintendent Engstrom wanted to take the secondary principals to a little retreat. So we were going to go, he said, let's go to Lake of the Woods. I haven't been to Lake of the Woods forever. I've been in Colorado. So I'm going to go to Lake of the Woods. So we get on a plane, and we're on this plane. And all of a sudden, we're flying right over Brainerd on our way up. And all of a sudden, the pilot just comes running out of the cockpit and throws a bunch of parachutes down, or packs, and says, we're in plane trouble. We got to get out of here. He grabs one of four and puts it on, jumps out. He's gone. So now, it's Frank, Dr. Frank Herman from Cooper, Tony Boyden, the soup, and myself. And we're sitting there looking at each other like, uh-oh, this isn't good. There's 3 chutes left. There's 4 of us. So Tony says, all right, I just want to be upfront with you. I'm in charge of 2 buildings or 2 programs. I'm super busy. I'm younger than any of you. And ladies first. So we kind of looked at each other and we're like, all right. Tony grabs the chute, puts it on, boop, she's gone. Now it's the 3 guys. So Dr. Frank Herman, the man of Robbinsdale area schools, says, I've been here the longest. I've been a high school principal the longest. I have a doctorate. And quite frankly, I'm the smartest man in this plane right now. And so Frank, without ever saying a word, Frank just runs over, grabs a chute, puts it on, boom, see ya, he's gone. So now it's me and the soup. And it's like a wrestling match. We're kind of eyeballing each other, and we're looking, and we're like, all right, who's going to get that next parachute? And then he looks at me, and he says, you know what, Eric? You know the smartest guy in Robbinsdale? Dr. Frank Herman? Just grab my book bag. I think we're good. Love you, Frank. And also, I just want to share with you, I don't normally dress this way, so school board, hang on. I usually wear pants, but we don't have an air conditioning in my main office right now, so we're working on that. I know Jeff is, so. All right, with that said, I do want to introduce a great leader to our schools, and done a wonderful job for his first year, and he's ready to go, as we are. Superintendent David Engstrom.
Thank you, Eric, very much. Thank you to your staff for hosting us today. Thank you for making Dr. Herman the butt of the joke instead of me, so thank you very much. You know, it just really feels good to be here today. It just feels good to be around everybody. And so, where is everybody right now? Well, we have people here in the audience. We're live streaming back so that we have many teachers and staff members that are live streaming back at their computers or gathering together into their schools. We have overflow that people are down in the auditorium or in the cafeteria here at Armstrong. And what I have just so enjoyed this morning is just seeing people gathering together and reconnecting and connecting with friends and peers from across the district. And so that's why we have not done this in 3 years. This is my first year I've been here. And yet to know we haven't done this in 3 years, we know how important it is as having a fresh start and having people gather together. Whether it's these speeches, whether it's the jokes you're going to hear today, we know what is the most important thing is to get together again and to reconnect. And so I know this is a sample size, it's a small sample size, but I'd like to ask the question of how many of you here are starting either a new position or a new teaching assignment, that you are doing something new this year. Here in the audience, can we get a show of hands of how many that is? Excellent. I love the beginning of school years because it's a first start and it's also a fresh start. But all of you that just raised your hand, you too are having even like an extra special fresh start because you are taking on something new. So kudos to you for doing it, but also just welcome to the district, welcome to your new position that you are going to be undertaking this year. Today, I'd like to introduce a couple of our special guests that are here. First of all, we have Representative Cedric Frazier that is in the audience with us today. Thank you for being here, Representative. You know that our school board is made up of 7 dedicated community members, and I'm pleased to have many of them that have joined us here today. We have Vice Chair Sam Sant is here. Sam. We have Treasurer John Vento is back there. There's John. We have our clerk, Greta Evans-Becker. Director Sharon Brooks-Green. And then we have our chair, Helen Bassett. And then Helen, stay standing because I'd like to introduce to you Chair Helen Bassett, who is going to come up and share a few words of welcome. Helen?
Well, good morning, everybody. I might need a little help getting up to this podium because I had foot surgery, but I'm not down and I'm not out, okay? Okay, well, good morning and welcome again, everyone. This morning, I begin by appreciating and the honor and being able to, and the pleasure of being able to welcome you back to the 2022-2023 school year. Thank you to our Robbinsdale Federation of Teachers President, Peter Eckhoff, for giving me this opportunity. I want to thank Mr. Engstrom also for this honor. And I'll try to use my 3 minutes well, okay? So today, my comments are centered on the notions of trust and legacy. When I began my service to Robbinsdale in 2002, many of you may not have been here, and you're saying we've seen a show of hands of the new people who are here and welcome. We welcome you here. You certainly did not pick me, given that I was appointed by the 6-member elected school board at that time. But in 2020, I would say, once again, you did pick me, Federation, to serve you as you now have done for what I am told is a record-breaking 5 elected terms with your support. So thankfully, the voters agreed. I speak this morning to the collective you. Today, my mind turns to trust and legacy. I and this school community have walked into history together, and we've shared legacy. So why do I mention legacy today? I mention it because we each live out our own legacy every day. Nobody gives it to you. You earn it. You leave it, and we can leave this, since we're here together, we can leave it together. It's not somebody else's to give you. You don't have to live somebody's past legacy. You live your own, and you make your own. And so we're calling you to do that today. And why do I mention this? It's true for my entire tenure on the school board. I've held full-time professional positions. I'm a career woman. Like many of you, I have been and continue to be at this moment dedicated to my career. My career in state government has run exactly parallel to my tenure on this board. It beats my school service by only 2 months. It's exactly 20 years in length, serving through and with Superintendent Stan Mack, Dr. Aldo Sicoli, Dr. Carlton Jenkins, Dr. Stephanie Barrage, Dr. Dan Jett at WEMAP, and Dr. Sandy Lewandowski at 287, and now Mr. Engstrom, all of whom I've served with. That's 7. That's a magical number. Each has taught me a lot. We won't mention the number of school boards members. But today I focus on your career and your legacy and the public trust we both hold. The most powerful notions that are constant for me relating to our work together are the notions that an effective teacher is the most important predictor of a child's academic success. It can overcome home life challenges, lack of confidence, and many other barriers. The other notion is that school boards do make a difference and do matter. These two concepts have guided me many years and can work powerfully when coupled with a disciplined and high-performing school board. As a fan of school boards adhering to a policy governance framework, I've not been one to meddle in the classroom. I've missed being able to be a frequent visitor in classrooms because of my work life. However, I have appreciated always having colleagues who had more flexible schedules who could make those visits. They do matter. May I have a show of hands for those, I think I have to know the answer, who've been in the district at least 10 years, or perhaps stand. I can't really see you, so if you want to stand, you can. Yeah. Can we have a show of folks who've been here for 15 years? And dare I ask the question, are there any who've been here for 20? Oh, I'm so happy. Okay. Well, now, you guys know my secrets. Don't tell. Okay? You've been here 20 years. Okay. Well, I resigned myself that the particular joy of greeting you in your classrooms might elude me. You know, my choice meant that I would need to trust. So trust you I did, and trust you I do. My message today is simple. You have the trust of the community to teach the children we serve. I do not believe my trust is misplaced. I want to thank you for the work you have done, that which you will do this school year. You are phenomenal. You are important and critical component in the life of those of us that you serve. We're all counting on you and want you to continue to actively live out your legacy each day. Thank you for your service and for your kind attention this morning, and thank you for your efforts to help us diversify our school district. I saw in June a couple of quotes from Amy, Executive Director O'Hearn, and your president, Mr. Akoff. And they shared that over the past 5 years, we have an agreement that you all agreed to, the collective you, that the teachers, that we only lost 12 teachers over the last 5 years, teachers of color. Now, of course, as you look at me, you would know that that would be something that would warm my heart. Yes, it's working and is in the contract, but we still have a long way to go, said Amy. Well, I can tell you that, particularly in a district where it's about 65% students of color and 90% of our teachers are white. Remember what I said, if you remember nothing else. We trust you, we depend on you, we're counting on you, and we believe you can get it done. Teachers are the most effective component to a child's life in education. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Bassett, for those words. I really appreciate it. The Robbinsdale area schools is such a unique school district. And when I heard that the tradition here is that today starts off with a breakfast downstairs for the Robbinsdale Federation of Teachers, and that Peter Etkoff, the president of RFT, invited me to share a few words. And then we have Peter is going to come and share a few words here also here at this start of our school year. It also really shows the importance of a couple of things. One is we know how important it is to break bread together. I love the state fair, and breaking bread with 120,000 people is a little bit beyond my comfort level. But what happened downstairs today, where we saw people gathering together, sharing stories, learning from each other, but eating together also, I think is a real wonderful thing for the Robbinsdale Federation of Teachers and the guests that you invited. It is a partnership in this community of the Robbinsdale area schools. And I'm so pleased to be working with RFT and all the work that we have ahead of us and the challenging work ahead. But I'd like to introduce to you the president of RFT, Peter Etkoff.
Well, I promised to be brief this morning at this juncture because many of you got to hear me go on a little bit at breakfast a few minutes back. But David's absolutely correct. We take great pride in the fact that here in Robbinsdale, when I interact with colleagues from throughout the state, I say, well, Robbinsdale, we're all a little different. We try to concentrate our efforts on the 97% of things that we agree on, rather than spend all our time, energy, and resources on the 3% that we might not be fully aligned with yet. Not to say we don't have ongoing conversations about that 3%, but we dive in with our energy on that 97%. And at the very beginning and the very end of every conversation, it's all about our kids. And I see that every day that I get the opportunity to be in our buildings, in your classrooms, interacting with folks from the superintendent through our custodial staff. I'm proud to be in this school district for the time that I have been and having the opportunity to represent all of you as a voice as we advocate for the best outcomes for kids. The efforts you make each and every day do make a marked difference, and they're the most impactful thing for our children as they prepare to be great citizens. I like David, I'm really looking forward to this year as I guess we're in endemic phase instead of post-pandemic, but the fact that we're all even able to gather is a thrill for me, and the fact that we're not all going to be sitting in Zoom meetings each and every day all day is something to celebrate and something to look forward to. I, for one, as a third grade classroom teacher, couldn't imagine getting through days without those hip hugs from every kid as they came flying into the room and when they went flying out of the room. So I just want to say huzzah to all of you. Welcome back. Looking forward to a fantastic year. Thanks for all you have done, will continue to do, and all that we'll take on together. Have a wonderful year.
Thank you, Peter. All right. How about some full disclosure right now? I'm wearing this. I'm the last person to use this microphone now, so now I'm actually going to take it off. Day 11 for me. And as we've come through this year and how difficult, or the years, and it's been difficult for the pandemic, I understand CDC guidance right now says that you isolate for 5 days and then you wear a mask for the next 5 days if you don't have symptoms. And I don't have symptoms. I have a little bit of a brain fog, so I'm going to probably use my script more than usual. And yet this morning on day 11, when I tested and it came back positive, I said, I cannot in good conscience show up here today without wearing a mask. And so I'm just trying to be as cautious as I can. But right now I'm taking it off because you need to see I'm smiling that you're here, okay? So I'm excited about being here. And yet with a mask, we know how it affects that 3-dimension and where you don't get to see people's affect as well. There's a couple other introductions that I would like to do this morning, and that is my cabinet. The cabinet serves a very important role here in this school district as we work together and we push on each other, as we collaborate with each other to provide the best guidance that we can to get support into the classrooms to support our students. Each one of the cabinet members that I'm going to introduce to you are experts in their area and care deeply about students and care deeply about you. And I'd like to introduce them to you today. They're around the auditorium, so if you can just stand and wave. But I have my Assistant Superintendent, Marty Voigt. Marty? Her name's been mentioned more than anybody's already today. It's Amy O'Hearn, the Executive Director of Human Resources. Then Toya Stewart-Downey, our Executive Director of Strategic Communications, Equity and Inclusion. There's Toya. Jeff Connell, our Executive Director of Facilities, Operations, and Transportation. Jeff. Yuki Dozier, our Executive Director of Finance. Where's Yuki's? Right back there. Good. Anthony Williams, our Executive Director of Community Education and Activities. Thank you. John Gronke, our Executive Director of Student Services. And also here today is Molly Olson, the Executive Assistant to the Superintendent and Board of Education. Now, after I am done with my words that I'm going to share with you today, we're going to actually give out some prizes. And each one of those cabinet members, I think, are holding 2 T-shirts. So you may want to position yourself by one of the cabinet members if you want to get one of the district T-shirts. All right. First starts and fresh starts. Don't move now. Okay. Wait until afterwards. Again, I'm so happy to be here today with all of you. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out is that there's actually synergy where people are together. And we had to do without it to really understand how important it is of having people around each other and the synergy that is created because of that. And the energy here we are feeling this morning is real. And it is my hope for you is that over the summer that you were able to really take care of yourself, is that you had a chance to rest and then reflect and then rejuvenate over the summer so that you are ready for these days of getting ready for our students coming next week. But I also need to acknowledge is that there were some that the summer looked different than others. And so I really would like to, and I don't see any of them here, but on the live stream and the recording, I want to thank our custodians for all the work that they have done over the summer. Yes. You know, they are working around maintenance and construction and just diligently preparing the schools to be ready for our students. And yesterday when I was here, just looking at the layout of the auditorium, the floors out front literally were squeaky clean. When I was walking, it was squeaking. And I just love clean floors. When I was as a principal, I had to resist the urge of eating off the floors, okay, when they had that nice shine to them. But also when I was a high school principal, you know, I came to realize is that when you have a large group of individuals and they have time away from each other, like over the summer, is that many life events can happen during that time. And so I'm curious right now, how many of you out there either got married, know someone that got married, or had a loved one that got married? Is it people? A tremendous life event, yes. And how many of you experienced a birth or an adoption or a loved one or someone you cared about had a baby or adopted an addition to the family? Yes. And now for this one, I don't need a show of hands, but oftentimes over the summer, we experience loss when we're away from each other. In my case, my loss is about letting go. My youngest went to college last week. My youngest went to college last week. Don't show your hands if you've been there before, but you know that's a loss and of letting go. But also just to be cognizant of there are people around you and peers and friends that may have experienced a loss of life over the summer. And while we are here joyful and excited about the school year, there are some that are grieving that are next to you, and to be ensured to check in with each other and to take care of each other. These life events change us. And this huge life event that we have gone through, this pandemic, has changed us. And it is my hope, as Peter brought up, is that we are now in this endemic stage of the virus, but we're going to just have to learn how to live with it. That one thing I'm curious about right now is that you probably all remember where you were on that day in March of 2020 when the world just kind of changed. But what I would like to do is take kind of another of a sample size of those that are in the room. How many of you have joined the Robbinsdale area schools since that day that you've joined? Could I have a show of hands, please? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of percentage that is of a sample size, but for those that were looking around, it probably was about a fourth of you, okay? About a fourth of you. And so we know that the pandemic has changed us individually, but it also has changed us as an organization. The people that raised your hand don't know the Robbinsdale area schools any other way. Those of you with 20 years in the district and 25 years in the district, you know what a change it has been. They don't know anything different. So I really want to thank each of you for joining us here in the Robbinsdale area schools. We're delighted that you are here on our team in this unique, special school district. I want to thank everyone in the sound that can hear my voice and those that are here in the auditorium. I want to thank you for your hard work, your dedication, and your perseverance during the course of this pandemic. While it seemed like the sands were shifting underneath our feet the whole time. You know, and I always thought that the most difficult job that I would have was be the one that I disliked the most. And the job that I disliked the most was working on the farms around Mountain Lake, Minnesota, where I grew up. And I don't know about you, but if I say rock picking and bean walking, can any of you relate? Can you raise your hand? Rock picking and bean walking. And there is nothing like on a cold June day of walking into chest-high soybeans that are wet with dew, and you're walking into those soybeans as you are going to be weeding those soybeans, all right? You get wet, you get cold, you get... And while I am grateful that at the age of 12, there were employment opportunities for the town kid, all right, on the farms around Mountain Lake, it really showed me what I did not want to do with my life. I knew that I wanted to be at school with my friends, probably playing on a team of some sort, all right? And yet, that was a job I disliked. The work that we have just gone through with the pandemic has been the most challenging. And yet, during this time, we, along with our students, developed new skills and strategies. We learned the meaning of the word pivot because we were doing it daily. We learned in 1 year what most experts say would have taken us 10 years in public education without a pandemic, whether we wanted to or not. And everyone, I just want to thank you again for all that you have done during this time, because this is the most rewarding profession. Being in education is the most rewarding profession, and yet somehow members of our community have started to devalue it and to devalue us. And everyone, I don't know why you chose education when you did, but if you are looking for a purpose in your life, you have found the right profession. And so I'd like you to consider this idea, or this thought, of why did you choose education? And most likely, it was because of an influential adult or an influential teacher. And right now, I'll name it. I'll name her. It was Linda Mix. Linda Mix was an English teacher and speech coach in Mountain Lake, Minnesota. She was the most influential teacher in my life. She was demanding, she had high expectations, she was competitive, and yet I knew that she cared deeply about me, and she cared deeply about her students. And then she created this community, which was a team, and especially like our speech team, of like-minded students that were competitive with high expectations. And yet we were there and we supported each other and made each other better as we worked with each other. And she created that community, and she was so influential in my life. And I think about her every single day. And now that I've mentioned her by name, I owe her a phone call. I'm serious. I've got to pick up the phone and I've got to give her a call because I need to check in with her. She is still living down in Windham, Minnesota right now. Our students need adults in their lives who will inspire and educate them to reach their unique potential. Now, I'm not just talking about our teachers here. Every adult can be an influential person in our students' lives. They need us. They need you. And then we need a plan to go along with that. And then the events in the last 2 years have really made it clear that the schools and that the districts in Minnesota and across the nation are able to change when the need arises. And so we need to address the realities behind why so many of our students do not feel successful in our schools. And that is why we're creating a new strategic plan. And this plan is going to hold on to the best of who we are, reflect how we have been changed by this pandemic, and then envisions what is needed for our students today and in the future. And the issues that we are looking at are thorny, and they're decades in the making, and we know we can't rush our plans for better serving our students and their families. And so our principals are going to be working with you this week and giving you a chance to review what is already developed into the strategic plan so that you can provide your insights into what we have developed so far. Because we know that we can't boil the ocean. We can't do everything at once, but we can be strategic about what we implement and when we implement it so that we are working on our highest leverage strategies to impact our student outcomes. We need to stack hands as an organization on our highest leverage priorities because we stack hands together as we continue to be an organization of learners. We learn from each other, and we learn from our students. And so where does that start? It starts in our communities. Your classroom is a community. Your school is a community. Your department is a community. And each of the schools and communities that make up our district has its own unique profile, and yet what we all share is a commitment to our students. And so we know the years from birth to young adult make all the difference in who our young people become and how they function in the world. And we believe a free and equitable public education is the best way to make a positive difference for our students and for our communities. And so for many students, the routines and rituals in the schools provide the much needed stability. And you, whether you are a teacher, an education assistant, a coach, or any other staff member, are the caring adults who put a human face on what school is all about. And that we strive to be a community where everyone is seen and heard and known. And when I say known, that everyone is known by name and strengths and needs, every student and every staff member. So we know we must listen to our students and learn from our students. We know we must listen to each other and learn from each other. You know, there's a growing awareness is shaping our world, and we must act decisively if we're going to save our democracy, save our planet, and at its core, save our very lives. And I will do everything that I can to make our schools vibrant with opportunity for every student, where young people from all backgrounds learn to think about and act on the issues that can change everything. The road to a just society runs straight through us. I have hope in who we are going to become because I can picture it. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being part of this community. I want to thank you for your hard work and perseverance. And I want to thank you for your dedication to our students. Company is coming on Tuesday, and I can't wait. Let's make it a great year. Thank you, everyone. Now, okay, before anybody leaves, we have some prizes for those of you in the auditorium. Sorry if you're streaming, you had to be here to win, okay? And we're gonna draw for some prizes, and then I don't want anyone to get hurt. So when the T-shirts are distributed by the cabinet members, I'm looking at Yuki Dozier back there. He's got some pretty good arm strength. Yuki, don't be chucking that thing really hard, okay? So I don't want anyone to get hurt, but after we draw the prizes here, then the cabinet members are going to toss T-shirts to some of you lucky people. So Amy, tell me what I'm doing right now.
This is preferred one cooler. The winner is?
This is a preferred one cooler, and the winner is Amy Anderson. Amy. Amy's going to need to verify her ID by giving us her phone number. Okay, so next one.
A Oral-B toothbrush.
We have an Oral-B toothbrush because
Delta Dental.
from Delta Dental, because dental hygiene is very important. Dana Gingery. What? Okay, penmanship matters, folks. Congratulations. We have 2 more prizes, right?
Yep.
Keep them coming.
Everside Clinic.
This is coming from Everside Clinic.
Yep.
If your name is Christine Dorman, congratulations, you won that from Everside Clinic. Amy is setting it down right out here. And our final gift basket before the launching of the T-shirts. Oh, I'm drawing for it. I'm drawing for it. So this is a number. This is a number. So get out your coupons, please. Are you ready? If your number starts with 636. Yeah, that's all of you. I know. But I want to do all of you to feel like a winner, okay? 636 5 8 Okay, let's start again. 636 5 8 0 0. If that is you, come forward. Is it you? We'll verify it. Amy will verify it. Everybody, have a great day. Have a great year. Thank you, everyone.